So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how do I color grade my footage to go from this to this using DaVinci Resolve's free version. But if this is your first time here, then let me introduce myself. My name is Norbert. I'm a freelance filmmaker and film school student who is building his own production company at the age of 20 while teaching other filmmakers how to make better videos and how to land deals with their dream clients. Also, the power grade for the look that we are going to create is going to be available in the description, so you can just download it and use it on your footage and then fine-tune it later. But without further ado, let's jump into DaVinci Resolve and let's start color grading our footage. Okay, so as you guys can see, our image still looks flat. It's still in HLG, which is the color space that I use for my videos. So the first thing we are going to do is add a couple more nodes because one node is going to be enough. So we can add corrector nodes using Alt S or Option S on Mac. I use Mac, so I press Option S. And then we just add a simple node. Now here at the second one, we are going to add 3 more nodes, but we are going to add parallel nodes, which we can do by pressing Option plus P or Alt plus P on Windows. So we are going to add 3 nodes. 1, 2, 3. Simple. Now we are going to need one more node and another one. And we need in total 11 nodes to get this look. Let me just clean it up, and now we are going to name these nodes so everything is going to be understandable. So the first one is going to be our first CST, and I would also like to do a little arrow like this, and we are going to write DVG, which is DaVinci Wide Gamut. Then here we are going to do another CST, which is going to be into Rec 709. Awesome. Here our third node is going to be Exp, which is exposure. After that, we are going to use WB, which is white balance, and then we are going to do another one, which is set, which is saturation. Okay, coming up, we have our 7th node, and this one is going to be glow. This is pretty simple. We are going to just put a glow effect on this. The 8th node is going to be another CST. And here we are going into Cine, which means Cineon film log, but we are going to talk about that in just a second. After that, we are going to write LUT. Sorry, we are going to write LUT. Here we are going to write look. This is where we will create our look basically, and in the last node, we are going to add a little bit of more saturation. So the next thing we are going to do is come here to our I think project settings. Yeah, project settings, and here we are going to look for color management. Now these are the settings that you should use if you are using an Apple product. For example, I edit on a MacBook Pro, so this is why my output color space is Rec 709A. But if you're using a Windows, then it can be just Rec 709 Scene. Simple. But our timeline color space should always be DaVinci Wide Gamut / intermediate, because in this color space we have a lot more room to work in, and it just opens up a lot of opportunities for us as colorists. So then the first thing we are going to do is add our first color space transform to this node. As I said, my color space is Rec 709 and Rec 2020 HLG, Rec 2100 HLG, sorry. And the color space that we are going into is DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate. This is as simple as it gets. Our image looks even more flat right now, but we are going to add another color space transform to this node right here. And here we are going to input DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate, and we are going to output Rec 709 and Gamma 2.4, because Rec 709 and Gamma 2.4 are the standard for basically high quality TV, if I'm not mistaken, and for basically everything you see online, for Reels, for YouTube videos, for TikTok videos, or whatever. All of them are in the Rec 709 color space. Most of them are with the Gamma 2.4 Gamma. And as you can see, our image already looks pretty good. We can already use it. This is ready for TV, this is ready for content, but we are not going to stop here. We are going to work some more with it. The next thing we are going to do is add another color space transform, but in this case we are going to input Rec 709 and gamma 2.4. So this output we are going to input here basically, and the color space we are going to go for is Rec 709 again, but our gamma is going to be Cineon film log. By the way, if you start typing the name of the color space or gamma, you will find it more easily. And here we are going to add a LUT. As you can see, our image looks flat again, because this is basically a log image right now, but we are going to add a film look, which is available in the free version of DaVinci Resolve, and the one that I use most of the time is the Rec 709 Fuji D60. So I'm just going to add this here, and now this is how our image looks like. It looks a little bit too cold, but we are going to fix it in the look and the saturation tab. But for now, let's come back here to the beginning. Let me just clean it up, and let's come back here to the beginning of our node structure. So what we are going to do is come here to our high dynamic range color wheels, and DaVinci Wide Gamut and Intermediate lets us use our high dynamic range. And what I like to do, because most of the times I overexpose my footage, I just lower the global. Not this much, but I lower it to around -1, but you can go even further if you like, but -1.20 looks good to me. Now, and what I like to do is increase my shadows, and if I have to, my light. So I just decrease it here. Oh, I forgot to add a node. Sorry. I like to add another one node, which is curve. I'm going to show you how does that work. Let's come back to our exposure. Here, as you can see, I can play with my light, and I can see that maybe my hand is a bit too bright, so I'm just going to lower it to around -0.33. Okay, and now let me see my shadows. I'm going to lower it so we have some contrast, and yeah, that looks pretty good. I like it. Maybe, yeah, I like it how it looks. By the way, by pressing Command D or Ctrl D on Windows, you can enable and enable your nodes. You can see what did you do basically. White balance. So I don't have to use my white balance node here because this image is perfectly balanced basically. But in case your footage isn't balanced correctly, you can use the white balance node to basically fix your image, and you can do that by still using your high dynamic range color wheels, and you can come here to your global X and Y. So X is basically your temperature, while Y is your tint. So if I increase X, as you can see, I'm introducing blue. If I decrease it, I'm introducing a lot of yellow. The same with the Y. So if I increase it, I introduce a lot of magenta. If I decrease it, I introduce a lot of green and cyan. After our white balance is set and we fixed it, I like to come here to my saturation node, and I like to add a little bit of saturation here in the beginning. We are going to add a lot more in the end, but for here, I just want to add a little bit. So, and I can see it mostly on my hands. It got more of that orange color. Okay, coming up, let's go to our glow node. And this one is going to be simple. We are going to type in glow, and we are going to add a glow node. And the way we are going to use this is we are going to lower the shine threshold to 0 and change our composite type to soft light. What this does, it introduces some more contrast into our image, but it does it in a really cool and unique way, in my opinion. Now here we can play with the spread. I'm just going to increase it a little bit so I'm not completely glowing, but it adds that dreamy kind of look also to our image, which I really like. Here I'm going to lower the gain a little bit because my image is already pretty bright, and I can play with the opacity to whether to increase the contrast in our image or lower it. And what I like to do, and what you should do, is always blend your effects. So never use it on 100%, always lower it a little bit to around 600, between 600 and 700, because that is, in my opinion, looks a lot cleaner. And then you can come back, play with the opacity again, and just fine-tune your look basically. Okay, so now that that is done, we can come here to our curve node, and we don't need the effects anymore. Here we can come here to our curves custom, and what I like to do is unlink them. So you have luminance here, which is Y, then you have RGB, and if you're linking them, then basically just by one move you are touching all the colors and the luminance. But what I like to do is unlink them and work only with the luminance. So this is what we are going to do. What I like to do with my curve is push my shadows up so I can see a little bit of matte kind of effect in my shadows, and I'm looking here at my shirt, and just decrease the highlights so they are not like blowing out right in my face. The next thing we are going to do is bring them back up, the highlights, and bring your shadows down, and just fine-tune your look from here. So make sure it looks normal, make sure it looks natural. Maybe I will bring it up here. And this is what this curve node does to our image. So as you can see, my black isn't completely pitch black. I don't really like that, but it's kind of this, it has this matte black kind of color, which I like a lot more. And if you look at movies, most of the times you won't find this pitch black color in them. So there won't be a completely black thing. There will always be a little bit of gray in it. It's going to be like a matte kind of black color. Awesome. So we made pretty good progress. Our image already looks, in my opinion, pretty good. And now what we are going to do is come here to our look tab. And I really like when my image has a little bit of golden or yellowish kind of color in it. And the way we are going to achieve that is by coming here to our primary color wheels. We are not going to use our high dynamic range anymore, color wheels anymore. We are going to use our primaries, and what we are going to do is decrease the blue in our gain, and we can do that by bringing down the gain. So the gain mainly focuses on your highlights, while your gamma focuses on your midtones, and the lift focuses on your shadows or darkest parts of your image. We are going to lower the gain, we are going to lower the blue in our highlights, and as you can see, it already introduced some yellow into our image, which I really like. But I don't want to introduce just yellow. I want a little bit of that, as I said, golden look. So what we are going to do is push it towards red a little bit, and this increases and this basically adds that golden look, and basically that's it. But we are going to do the same to our gamma, but we are not going to be so aggressive with it. We are going to lower it just a little bit and add a little bit of red to it. Maybe that's too much, as you can see. Let's fix it. Yeah, I think this looks a lot better. As you can see, my skin tone looks a lot better, but we are going to use our vector scope to check it really quickly. That's not our vector scope. This is our vector scope. As you can see, let me just turn on my skin tone indicator. As you can see, my skin tone is all right. We are good to go. By the way, you can turn on this basically wherever I put my mouse, it shows it on my vector scope. You can turn it on by display qualifier focus here. And then it's a lot easier to fine tune your skin tones than basically anything you want. Okay, let's keep it moving. Okay, so we have one more node. Basically our look is complete. What you can do is, as a bonus thing, you can add another node here after your look, and you can call it look adjustment. And in your log wheels, you can basically fine tune your look, but I'm not going to do that. It's not necessary. But if you see that in your black there's a lot of magenta, green, or whatever, you can use another node to basically fine-tune your look, but I'm not going to do that. It's not necessary for me. And in the last node, we are going to add more saturation to our image, and the way we are going to do that is not by increasing our saturation here and leaving it like this. This is not the best way to do it. We are also not going to use the color boost. No. what we are going to do is right click on our node, look for color space, and basically choose HSV, which stands for hue saturation value. This is the one that we are going to work in. After that, let's come here to our channels and disable channel 1 and disable channel 3. So right now, basically from HSV, we disabled hue and value. So we only focus on saturation. And the way we are going to increase the saturation is by using a primary color wheels. We are going to do that by either increasing our gain, and as you can see, we are already introducing quite a lot of saturation into our image, into our highlights. We can do it by increasing our gamma or lift, but I'm not going to use the lift at all. As you can see, it already ruined my image. But I'm going to use my gamma and my highlights to make my image more saturated. Introduce the gain a little bit, not a lot. You can be extremely aggressive with it because it's not going to look that good. But maybe add a little bit more to the gamma and maybe decrease the highlights a little bit. I can see it in my skin tones and maybe on the screen too. And yeah, I like the way it looks right now. Basically, our image is complete. Now, let me show you guys how can you actually create your own power grade so you can use on your other footage. So what you can do is come here to your gallery, right click on your image and grab still. Basically, that's done. You already have your power grade that you can, let me show you, you can put on your other footage. Done. Yes, maybe you have to fine tune it. You have to work with your expo a little bit. Maybe it's a bit too bright here, so we are going to decrease the light. Maybe decrease the shadows a little bit. But you can now use this power grade for all of your images that you want. But before my camera overheats, let me thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys want the power grade, the one we created together, you can access it by clicking on the link in the description. I think it's going to be the first link. And subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.